sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, let's dive right in, shall we? Today, we're going to be looking at the aftermath of this Premier League match that has everyone buzzing. Manchester United's home game against Brighton and Hove Albion. And we've got a post-match blog here from the Manchester Evening News, which is just packed with the action, key events, player ratings, and all that good stuff. And to add a little bit more kind of expert analysis to the mix, we've got a full match report as well.
Okay.
Now, the scoreline. Well, let's just say Brighton kind of sailed away with a 3-1 victory, which has left Manchester United fans wondering what went wrong.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you know what's really interesting here is this isn't just a one-off upset. This result actually points to a larger trend that's been developing between these two clubs.
Okay, so Brighton's turning heads at Old Trafford, a place where, you know, Manchester United used to dominate. They've won their last 3 matches there. And here's the real kicker, by the same 3-1 scoreline, 2 seasons in a row. I mean, isn't that a bit of a mental hurdle for Manchester United having this team consistently outplay them on their home turf?
It definitely raises questions about the psychological impact.
Yeah.
You have to wonder, you know, is there a sense of doubt creeping in for Manchester United when they face Brighton?
Yeah.
But it's not just about the mental game, I think. Tactically, Brighton's been doing some really, really interesting things.
Right, because Brighton didn't just waltz in and win. This game was a nail-biter.
Oh, yeah.
And the Manchester Evening News blog really captures that. They scored just 5 minutes into the match, talk about setting the tone. I mean, does Manchester United usually struggle with these early goals at home?
Well, I mean, it's actually been a bit of a pattern for them lately. They've conceded within the first 5 minutes in 3 out of their last 5 home games.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest, Newcastle pulled it off, and now, of course, Brighton. It suggests a vulnerability right out of gate, you know? Are they not focused? Are they getting their game plan in place too slowly?
That's a worrying trend for sure. The blog also mentions a series of near penalties, you know, that must have both sets of fans on the edge of their seats. Can you maybe walk us through some of those moments? What was the atmosphere like on the pitch?
Yeah. Oh, it was electric. I mean, every challenge in the box was under scrutiny, and you could feel the tension, you know, just building. Manchester United were scrambling to defend while Brighton were relentlessly attacking, looking for any advantage that they could get. The VAR even got involved, disallowing a goal for Brighton.
Oh, wow.
But they didn't let that, you know, deter them. They kept the pressure on, scoring 2 more goals in the second half.
So Brighton faced some setbacks, but never lost their composure, which is pretty impressive. Now, I got to ask about the goalkeeper, Andre Onana. The blog, they didn't hold back. You know, they gave him a dismal 2 out of 10 rating and called one of his errors a howler.
Yeah.
I mean, was this just a bad game for him, or is there something more to it?
Well, you know, let's not write him off based on one game. Everyone has an off day, and sometimes those mistakes, you know, lead to goals. But it is worth examining whether this performance was a fluke or if there are any underlying issues, you know, maybe with his decision-making or his command of the area. We'll need to see how he performs in the coming matches to get a clearer picture.
Fair enough. We'll keep an eye on him. But while we're on the topic of player ratings, let's dive into a couple more that stood out to me. Matisse de la Carre, he received a rather unfortunate 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Ouch. On the flip side, Joshua Zirkzee, star of the match, earned a solid 7 out of 10. How much weight should we actually give these ratings, though? I mean...
Yeah, player ratings are always a hot topic. They can be, you know, entertaining and thought-provoking, but they're also subjective and often reflect the emotions of the moment, you know. A single brilliant play can boost a player's rating, while one mistake can just drag it down, even if the rest of their performance was solid. It's important to remember they're just one piece of the puzzle.
So take them with a grain of salt. They're not the be-all and end-all, but they can definitely add a little spice to the post-match analysis. Speaking of spice, the Manchester Evening News blog quotes Rúben Amorim,
oh boy,
the Manchester United manager, as saying that his team is possibly the worst in the history of Manchester United. That's a bold statement. Yeah. What's your take on that kind of dramatic language?
Well, it definitely grabs your attention, doesn't it? There are a few ways to interpret such a strong statement, I think. Is he trying to, you know, motivate his players by delivering a harsh wake-up call?
Right.
Is he trying to deflect blame away from his own tactical decisions or team selections? Or could it be, and this is a bit concerning, a genuine expression of despair where he's actually lost faith in his squad?
It's like he threw down the gauntlet in the post-match press conference. Yeah. Now, let's shift gears a little bit and bring in a different perspective. Samuel Luckhurst, the Manchester Evening News football writer, offers a more nuanced take in his match report. He argues that the squad needs a drastic rebuild and points to recurring issues like defensive indecision and, surprise, surprise, conceding early goals.
Yeah.
Do his observations line up with, what we saw in the blog and heard from the managers?
Well, Luckhurst is thought on, Those early goals, the shaky defense, the lack of coordination, these aren't just isolated incidents. They point to, deeper systemic issues within the squad.
It's becoming a frustrating pattern, for Manchester United fans. These same problems just keep popping up. But Luckhurst goes a step further. He doesn't just point out the issues, he actually suggests solutions. He's calling for a major squad overhaul. He's questioning the quality of some players and emphasizing the need for a strategic long-term approach to rebuilding the team.
That's a stark contrast to Amorim's, worst team ever outburst, would you say?
We're seeing two very different perspectives on how to address Manchester United's struggles. Amorim seems to be vacillating between, fiery speeches and tactical tweaks, while Luckhurst is advocating for a more measured and strategic approach.
So where does this leave Manchester United? I mean, are they destined for mediocrity, or is there still a glimmer of hope?
Well, I think the upcoming transfer window is going to be crucial.
Yes.
Will they invest in the players Luckhurst believes they desperately need? Will they support Amorim's vision, whatever that might be at this point? The answers to those questions will determine, I think, the trajectory of the club.
Now, here's something that really caught my eye in Luckhurst's analysis. He highlights a curious trend. Manchester United seems to struggle, specifically against Brighton. It's not just a one-time thing. It's been happening consistently.
Is there something about Brighton's style of play that just throws Manchester United off balance?
That's a fascinating observation. It's almost as if, Brighton has Manchester United's number, tactically speaking. They press high, they force errors, and they create scoring opportunities.
Could there also be like a psychological element at play here?
Wow.
A mental block, perhaps? If a team has a history of losing to a specific opponent.
Oh, yeah.
It can definitely create self-doubt and fear of failure.
Absolutely. Confidence plays a huge role in football. If a team steps onto the pitch already expecting to lose, it can affect their performance, decision-making, overall mentality. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So we have this intriguing trend of Manchester United repeatedly faltering against Brighton.
Right.
Is it tactical?
It's probably a combination of factors. Tactically, Brighton seems to have found a formula that works against Manchester United's weaknesses. But there's undeniably a psychological component as well, I think. Manchester United seems to lack the belief and the conviction necessary to overcome this particular opponent. And that lack of belief can spread like wildfire. It affects the manager, the players, even the fans.
It becomes a vicious cycle that's incredibly hard to break.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless Manchester United addresses both the tactical and the psychological aspects of this issue.
Right.
It seems they'll continue to stumble against Brighton. But let's rewind for a moment. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, The surprising result, the key moments from the match, the standout player performances or lack thereof, and the manager's explosive post-match comments.
We've also delved into Samuel Luckhurst's insightful analysis, which has provided, I think, some really valuable context and thought-provoking observations.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. As we've discussed, this recurring issue of Manchester United struggling against Brighton, it's a real head-scratcher. It's almost as if there's a puzzle to be solved here.
And that's the challenge we leave you with.
Yeah.
Is it a tactical mismatch, a mental block, or just a series of unfortunate coincidences?
Dig a little deeper. Explore the statistics. Analyze the patterns. See if you can come up with your own theory.
Because sometimes the most intriguing questions are the ones without easy answers.
And that's the beauty of football, right? It keeps us guessing, keeps us debating, and keeps us coming back for more.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
We've analyzed, we've dissected, and we've maybe even overthought a few things along the way.
Yeah. But
that's what we do here on The Deep Dive. We take a mountain of information and try to make sense of it all.
Right.
To extract those hidden gems of insight.
It's like panning for gold, you know? You sift through the dirt and the gravel until you find those nuggets of pure brilliance, those aha moments that make the whole process worthwhile.
Exactly. And hopefully we've given you, our listener, plenty to think about. Maybe you agree with our analysis. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you have a completely different perspective. That's the beauty of it. There's no one right answer, just a bunch of passionate fans trying to understand this beautiful game.
And that's what we encourage you to do. Keep thinking critically.
Yeah.
Keep asking those tough questions and keep diving deep into the topics that ignite your curiosity.
Yeah.
Whether it's tactics, player psychology, or the history of rivalries, there's always something new to uncover.
Because knowledge is power, right? The more we understand the game, the more we can appreciate its intricacies.
Absolutely.
And its endless capacity to surprise us.
So until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep the conversation going. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to solve the mystery of Brighton's dominance over Manchester United.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration of the world of football.
Luckhurst is spot on.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're Bobby doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.